Hey everyone, this is Pete, and welcome back to Atari A to Z Flashback, a series of short playthroughs of the 150 games that make up Atari Flashback Classics for Nintendo Switch. Today's game is Circus Atari, which was a 1980 port of a 1977 arcade game originally by Exidy. The original arcade game was a rethemed version of Atari's Breakout, in which instead of hitting a ball against a wall with a bat, you were bouncing a pair of clowns on a seesaw in order to burst balloons. Exidy and Atari were actually rivals in the electronic gaming business, and representatives from Exidy actually sort of said that it was very difficult to kind of get a foothold in the industry while Atari was so dominant. And so it's kind of strange that this game came home via Atari. And it's not entirely clear if this was an officially licensed adaptation or anything like that, although the fact that Circus in the first place was an adaptation of Atari's Breakout makes that whole thing a bit murky anyway. But regardless of the origins of this game or where it came from or who it belongs to, it's still a pretty fun game, and it's a very challenging game as well. So let's go play Circus Atari.
Okay, here we are once again with Atari Flashback Classics. Today we're taking a look at Circus Atari, which promises 8 video games for 1 or 2 players. So let's examine the manual. Another poor quality scan here, lovely. Alright, object of the game. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop. Pop the balloons and score points. A wall of red, blue and white balloons appear at the top of the screen. You must pop balloons by catching a clown on the teeter-totter, it's a seesaw if you're British, and bouncing him up to the platforms. Balloons, rather. Use the controller to move the teeter-totter across the screen to catch the clowns. Each time a clown pops a balloon, the balloon will disappear and you score points. Each player receives 5 clowns or turns. If you fail to catch a clown on the teeter-totter, he will crash and disappear from the playfield. Press the red controller button and another clown will bounce off the trampoline from the right or left corner of the playfield. After 5 clowns have crashed, the game is over. The clowns may land on any point of the teeter-totter except where the other clown is sitting, which causes them to crash. So, this is a paddle-controlled game. So we've got the fun time of analog controls in this again. So here we are. Games 1 through 6 may be played by 1 or 2 players, but games 7 and 8 are 2-player games only. Game 1 is Breakout Circus. As the clown pops balloons, he rebounds from balloon to balloon, both horizontally and vertically. Game 2 is like Game 1, except the playfield has an additional wall of barriers added below to balloons, which makes the games more difficult. Game 3 is Breakthrough Circus. So this is like the variations we saw in Breakout, hence the names. So Breakout, you bounce off stuff. Breakthrough, you don't, basically. Game 4 is Breakthrough Circus with a row of barriers. Game 5 is similar to Breakout Circus, except the balloons do not restore after the full row is popped. All balloons on screen must be popped before you receive 3 new rows of balloons. At this time you receive 170 bonus points and an extra clown. Okay, strange number. Game 6 is the same as Game 5, but with the original row of barriers. Game 7 is for 2 players. Each player share the same wall of balloons. The computer tracks each player's score individually. And Game 8 is 2-player with the row of barriers. So all very similar variations. But that's pretty much it. How do you choose between 1 and 2-player then? Doesn't really say. Okay, fair enough. Well, let's just have a go. Okay, so we pick between all our different games. So Breakout Circus, that's with the barriers. Oh, you just choose between 1 and 2 players with the game switch. Alright, let's start with the Breakout Circus. New row of cleared, 1 player. And off we go. Then you see those balloons are moving jolly quickly. Hit the fire button to bounce a clown into play, and then just bounce him into that lovely flickering wall until he comes a cropper. Nope. And again. Oh, that's nice. You see the clowns can come from the trampolines on either side of the screen. You also see that once some of the balloons have gone, it becomes a bit clearer to see what they're actually doing rather than just sort of flickering weirdly. Okay, well, that's game one. Let's have another go at that. Oops. There's an Atari 8-bit game I used to like that was basically a take on this. It was called Clowns and Balloons. In that game, though, rather than a seesaw, you just had a couple of guys holding a trampoline, and you just had to run back and forth and bounce the clown up using the trampoline, rather than this slightly odd back and forth thing you got going on here. I guess, like it said in the manual, it doesn't matter too much where the clown hits the seesaw, as long as he doesn't land on the other clown. But that makes things a little bit difficult when you get towards the edge of the screen, because if the clown falls down on the edge of the screen, there's no way you can get him out of the way, I don't think. Let's have another go. Oh, right. If you press the fire button while the clown is in the air, then you flip the seesaw around. This changes everything. They did think of that. I was there thinking that they hadn't addressed a fundamental flaw in their game design, but evidently they had. So that's good. This is a problem I sometimes have with this game, where they just seem to start bouncing back and forth and you can never get them high enough. I think that's where they land on the seesaw becomes important. So you have to land on the edge to get them high enough to be able to actually hit the balloons. Alright, I'm going to master this. Well, maybe not master, but get the hang of. Oh, this is tricky. Tricky. Yeah, you have to be quite precise when landing on the edge and not move away as your clown lands. Oh. Disappointing. Try again. Nope. Nope. This is going very poorly. Yeah, you want to try and get them caught between the rows of balloons, really. That seems to be the ideal way of doing it, but just the accuracy required. It's obligatory for me to mention this anytime we have a paddle-controlled game in Atari Flashback Classics, because I know so many people who struggle with the paddle controls in these games. Now, the paddle, if you're unfamiliar, was basically a dial control that you turn left and right, and it was an early form of an analog controller. But what that means is when it's mapped to a modern analog controller, it means if you push all the way to the left, then you whiz all the way over to the left. If you push all the way right, it whizzes all the way over to the right. Because that's basically turning the knob to its two extremes. So the easiest way to handle it is to put your thumb on the analog stick, push it to one side, and then just rotate around the perimeter of the thing. And that allows you much more precise control over where you want to be. My controller's a bit dirty, isn't it? But whatever, deal with it. Yeah, and once you understand how that works, the paddle control games in this collection become much more enjoyable. In most cases, you can use the D-pad as well, and that's the case here as well. This is the D-pad movement. It's just you have to sort of tap or hold, whereas with the paddle, the analog controls, it just moves straight to one side. Oh, dear. Oh, it's when they speed up, it's really hard to return them. Another thing it has in common with Breakout, I guess. Alright, let's try a different game. So, let's try this one with the barriers. This is game 2. So yeah, that makes things a bit more challenging. Although if you time it right, that also provides greater potential for keeping the cloud up there for a little bit longer. Oh, that's interesting. So the other thing you can do when he's at the side of the screen is that he can actually land back on the trampoline and bounce off that. This is an interesting little game. It's not one I've played very much before, but it's a surprising amount of interesting little twists in here that distinguish it from your sort of average bat and ball games. I mean, it's difficult and it's over very quickly. Make whatever comment you see fit there. But yeah, it's kind of fun. Frustrating, but kind of fun. Alright, let's try Breakthrough Circus. So now, as long as you hit the balloons, they don't bounce off them, they just smash through them. So in this mode, in theory, it should be easier to get higher scores. As long as you can actually get your dude up there in the first place. Nope. Which is a struggle sometimes. Oh, and just that additional little wrinkle of having to remember to turn your paddle around just makes it just that little bit trickier. Alright, what else we got? Breakout Circus, new screen if cleared. I don't think we're going to make it to that point somehow. But, well. Yeah, this is tricky. This is really, really tricky. But it's a nice sort of thing to move on to if you enjoy the sort of Breakout style gameplay, but you just want something a little bit different. Okay, let's go back to basics. Nice. That's nice. Oh, foolish. Very foolish. Also foolish. Yeah. Oh my god. That was terrible. Try again. I say that was terrible. I think that might have been my best score. Certainly better than 17. Yeah, there's just something about this stuff my brain finds quite hard to process. You can't sort of switch your brain off quite as much as you can in Breakout. Not that Breakout is a mindless game by any means, because you really have to sort of be on top of your reflexes and paying attention to what's going on in Breakout, but it feels like you're sort of using a different part of your brain in this one. Having to pay attention to more things at the same time. And I'm not good at that, from the look of things. Oh. I like the little dudes, though. They've got a nice bit of personality about them. It's nice that they got some animation about them. Where they're sort of waving their arms and legs around as they're flying through the air. Just try not to think too much about the horrific scene that would occur when they land on the floor, were this to be a real situation. Nope. One more try. One more, he says. Oh, we've been here before, haven't we? Very nice. Oh, sorry, I got a really itchy nose today. Oh. Oh, come on, you landed on that. Nope. I think 360 something is my best score, isn't it? One more try. Let's see if we can beat my best score. Not like that, I'm not. 10? Is that all? Nope. 19. Ah. Yeah. Now that's interesting. What I'm doing now... I'm going to have another go using that strategy. What I'm doing now is I'm keeping my eyes locked exclusively on the clown, rather than trying to look ahead to where I'm aiming. And that actually makes it a little bit easier to get yourself in the right place to return him, in most cases. It's also a surefire way to send your eyes squiffy. But it does seem to work a little better than trying to watch the whole screen at once. Even if we are struggling a bit to get the height there. Oh. Well, we're getting the bounces. We're not getting the scores, though. Yes, when it gets speedy, it gets seriously tricky to control. Well, not control, but stay on top of what's going on. Make sure you end up in the right place at the right time. Collision detection might be a little bit wonky as well. I mean, obviously it's mostly my own incompetence, but I think there might be a slight element of dodgy collision detection at times. Go on, get up there. One more try. One of many. Boing! Nope. Nice. Keep it up, boys. You got this. No, you not got this. Stop drifting off to that side. Ow! Maybe one more. Yeah, this is one of those games that kind of has that magic, addictive quality about it. It's so simple. And an individual game of it is so quick. That, yeah, I can see yourself quite easily losing quite a lot of time to this game. If you're not careful. Naturally, I have much more self-discipline than that. You'd never catch me being addicted to a game. Oops. Oh, I was so close to beating my score. I obviously have to play again now. This will probably be the last go. Because, you know, there's only so much you can say about bouncing a clown up and down on the seesaw in order to pop big blocky balloons that are moving by character. But, you know, I'm having a hypnotic good time with this game, and I hope you are too. Oops. Ah. Back into the 300s. Oh, I beat my score. I beat my score. I beat my score, I think. Assuming my score was 362, which is I've had in my mind for some reason. We'll say I beat my score. We'll say that is a good way to finish this episode. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please help out the channel by leaving a like or a comment and subscribing. New episodes of Atari A to Z are on Tuesdays and Atari ST A to Z on Thursdays. Check out atariatoz.wordpress.com for a full archive. Do please also check out my other projects moegamer.net, where I explore Japanese and Japanese-inspired games from yesterday and today, and videopackgames.wordpress.com, which aims to catalogue the small but well-formed library of the Philips G7000 Videopack computer, also known as the Magnavox Odyssey 2. You can also support my work on Patreon or buy me a coffee. You can find links to do both down in the video description. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.